I'm Jenn Page.
And I'm John Curtis.
And we are two nerds in a garage. In a garage.
Yes.
Sunny California.
November, it's 90 degrees.
Fun times.
Yes.
Fun times. So I don't know, like we feel like we are trying to find fun ways to incorporate you guys into the show. So I really hope that if you are listening, and we know some of you are because you're commenting and giving us criticism, make sure you send us in ideas, things you want to talk about. Are you a nerd couple? Like, what is a fight you guys have gotten into so that we can debate it here on air?
Yeah, that's healthy.
It's good, you know. We need more things to talk about other than the things we already argue about regularly on a daily basis.
Send it in.
That said, though, there's so many remakes happening that this got us on a tangent about
today is remakes.
Yeah, so how movies shouldn't be remade.
Should or should not?
Should not be remade.
Right.
Movies should not be remade.
Let's start.
So listen. I did some research. Do you know there has been 8 remakes of Les Miserables, 8 Dracula movies, 9 Jane Eyre movies, and we're about to have the 4th Little Women movie.
Oh my God!
Like, it's just, remakes are a little out of control. Like, Hollywood acts like they don't have a new idea.
But in terms of technology and the way things are progressing and people who have new ideas, should we not give a pass?
It's not a new idea if you're remaking the same story.
It's not a new idea, but it's an idea with better technology and better
I know what you're thinking. All you're thinking is, now I get more Star Wars. But see, those aren't even remakes. They're sequels. That's totally
not it. What'd you say?
What would you be okay if they remade the first Star Wars?
No.
Okay, then.
No.
You should not remake. You can make sequels if you want. You can do
What was
retellings.
one of the movies you just said?
Little Women.
You cannot compare that to Star Wars.
Maybe there's somebody who thinks you can.
No. Star Wars was seminal. It changed the landscape of filmmaking, of sci-fi and fantasy. It was different. Like, Little Woman is a great piece of literature, and it should be allowed to be reincarnated in different forms of cinema.
I will say I'm enjoying the new show Dickinson on Apple Plus, and I don't think that doesn't really come from literature. It comes more from inspiration of her poems.
It's from literature, though.
But it's from literature, and I don't think it's a remake of anything. It's a retelling, and it's really inventive. And
you just proved my point.
But it's a retelling. It's not a remake. It's not like somebody said, "Hey, I love that show Dickinson. Let me remake it." I don't think that anything like this has been made on Emily Dickinson. If I'm wrong, audience, please let me know.
Yes.
Okay, so that said, in our arguments, as you can see, we don't agree. I decided that we should...
what are 3...
Go ahead.
3 movies we should not have ever been remade?
Yes, all of them. But my top 3...
we have not seen each other's list.
No. Okay, I'll go first.
Yes, please. Only one.
Okay. On top of my list is Bad News Bears. You may not even have known that there was a remake with Billy Bob Thornton.
I totally did. It was on my list. I had to brush it aside for 3 others, but it was totally on my list. That should never have been remade.
And no offense to Billy Bob Thornton, who is great. It's just, you're not going to be Walter Matthau. You're never going to compete with that original cast. There was just it was so special. I watched
the original, and it held up. It was
so
great.
It does.
I was watching it. I was so happy.
I mean, when you do watch it, if you watch Walter Matthau's version now, there are things that you're like, ugh.
What?
Well, not in like a bad way, but in a post-Me Too.
Like giving the kids beer?
Yeah, there's just things that you won't get away with in modern movies.
Hey, you guys won. Have some beer. You're 12.
But
have some beer.
That said, it's a classic. Okay, well, what are yours?
No, that was really good. The first thing I had on here was Lion King.
Okay, I haven't seen the new one yet, so I can't attest to that, but I will say that I probably will agree that it didn't need to be remade. I would say most of these Disney movies don't need to be remade, other than the fact that Beauty and the Beast, I actually liked the live action better than the cartoon.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of those Disney cartoons.
I appreciated the live action Beauty and the Beast. It cannot be better than the first. No.
Okay, but so Lion King, I know you went and
All
saw
right.
it by yourself, and you had a very
and
bad experience. And
I
you
walked
ended up walking
out. I walked out.
and he
after
doesn't walk out of
two-thirds.
movies.
I don't walk out of
There's
movies.
so many movies where I'm like, can we please go? And he's like, no, we're not walking out.
Oh, God. No. Didn't work.
What was the worst part of the new one for you?
I can't even articulate it. I just, I was so bored. I remember feeling so magical in the first animated version. I think it was the animated versus the CGI.
Okay.
Something about the CGI just turned me off so much that I was not into it. I just hated it.
Okay.
All right.
So,
All right.
But I mean, a lot of people worked on that, and a lot,
Yeah,
and
I know.
kudos to them, and a lot of people love
Disney,
that movie.
And I love I love the remake of The Beauty and the Beast. I love the remake of Aladdin. It just didn't do it for me.
Just probably too much CGI for
Yeah.
you. That's all.
Yeah, maybe.
But kudos
right.
to those guys who make those, because
Yes.
that's a hard task.
All right.
Okay, the number two
two
on my list was Clash of the Titans. Now, don't get me wrong, Sam Worthington is absolutely a awesome hero, and he is a better hero in theory than Harry Hamlin. But the original Clash of the Titans just has that special, like,
Okay.
you can't replace that.
We're in our 40s. I love you so much for bringing that up because it was on my list. I just didn't include it again.
So what did you include
No,
instead?
but I don't want to include. I want to talk about Clash of the Titans.
Okay.
There was something really cool about my childhood that I love seeing that movie.
Yeah.
And I didn't even care about the Sam Worthington one.
I know. I tried to like it.
I tried, yeah. But the
But also,
first one,
also the first one is what made me have a love for Pegasus. I mean, like I, for the rest of my life, want a Pegasus for a pet. And until I get one, my life will not be complete.
remember when he captured Pegasus? He was just drinking at the water.
All right, what's your number two?
Oh, I want to. Okay, number two was RoboCop.
Okay, you're going to really nerd shame me right now, but I don't think I've ever seen either RoboCop.
What?
At least I don't remember the one from the 80s. I kind of remember what he looked like a little bit, so maybe I did.
You don't. We could have had this conversation if you would have remembered the one from the 80s. If you had not seen the one today.
I don't think I've seen either of them, is my point.
I know. God, the one from the 80s is very special. It's awesome. It's really cool. So well done.
All right, my number three is Murder on the Orient Express. And this has nothing to do with me liking the original one. I just feel
You
like
saw the second one?
I saw the one that Kenneth Branagh directed.
Without me.
Trust me, you're welcome. It had amazing, I mean, okay, listen, everybody in this movie is a freaking phenomenal actor. I love them all. And I think Kenneth Branagh is a great director. I just feel like, I don't know if it had that problem of too many celebrities in one movie. The story just didn't seem to translate to new times. It just, there's a lot of holes that I think you forgave back in the time of the original one. In the new one, you needed to fill. And so it didn't work. And it was really, I kept watching it, waiting for it to get better, and it never did. I think you can skip it.
I never saw either. So roles reversed. But RoboCop.
I know. I'll
need
watch
to
it.
see-
It's on my list. It's on my list. What's your number three?
All right. That was our number three.
What's your number three?
That was our number three.
No, you had-
Total Recall. I have four, actually.
Oh, well, we're running out of time on
no,
this,
but
so
four. I need to
then,
do this.
Then rattle them off.
Okay. Karate Kid.
Karate Kid's almost on my list.
Should never have been remade.
Okay, but here's why.
Jaden Smith.
But here's why I took.
No.
Here's why I took it off, and I need you to go with me on this. I had it on my list because I think that it's hard to touch the original Karate Kid. But here's why I was okay with it. I don't think I don't think it was a bad movie. And two, I do think it was important to put an African American kid in a lead role so that other African American kids could see themselves in that role.
But how well do you think that reached out to people of the African American community?
I don't know. I mean, any of our listeners who can chime in on this, please do, because
Yes.
I would love to know your
if
thoughts.
you were affected by the second Karate Kid, please tell me. Because the first one was so special.
So let's really quickly, we had a whole nother thing where we wanted to talk about.
3 movies.
Okay, so you're going to do 3 movies that you want.
to read. Yes.
And I'm going to do something else. So go ahead and give us your 3
3 movies we want to be remade. Okay, my first is The Last Starfighter.
You want to remake The Last Starfighter?
Let's
Only because you want to play the role.
Oh my God, I cannot.
Why would you ever
I can't.
remake a
I'm not young
perfect
enough.
movie?
Okay,
And who would you put in the lead?
listen, I appreciate that you think it's a perfect movie, and I love you for that. The Last Starfighter is about a kid.
I don't mean perfect, like perfect story, perfect. It's perfect in our brains and our hearts. Let's leave it be.
All right. This kid plays
Same as the original Tron. Leave him alone.
The remake was pretty, or the
Anyway.
reboot. Oh, anyway, okay. Last Starfighter, this kid plays a video game, but it's actually a test. Anyway, if you remade that today, okay, before it was like, da, 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 but now look at video gaming today.
So really,
If
you
an
don't want a
alien
Last
species-
Starfighter remake. You want a reboot.
No, I want a remake.
If it's a remake, then you need to have the same, the 80s, the old machines.
No, you don't need the old machines.
Somebody settle this argument for us. That is a reboot.
Look at gaming today. If
That's a reboot.
Look, if someone put the VR headset on and they're like, "You're doing this thing, you're playing this game, but it's actually a test." The dynamic is so different.
I mean,
today
I get it.
Than it was.
Trust me, this movie affected us so much that there's not a time we don't play a video game and think, "Am I being tested? If I win this, am I going to be called to adventure?"
Well, that's video gaming.
I think that says a lot about the movie. But again, that's
But
a
if
reboot.
you're playing a test to
All right,
save
what were
the
your
universe.
the other ones you want to see remade?
Well, you go.
No, I have a different list than you. I have a different topic.
Okay, War Games.
I don't know what the heck War Games is.
Matthew Broderick.
No.
Okay.
I guess we're going to add RoboCop and War Games.
Okay, so War Games with Matthew Broderick was hacking this government
Maybe I
site.
do know it kinda.
Okay, and it was all about, like, this was in the Cold War.
Okay.
And like U.S. and the Russia was having this like military standoff, and Matthew Broderick hacked in, and he was trying to play a game, but he was actually activating a thermonuclear war between America and Russia, and he had to like de-escalate it.
Okay, so but was it like a video game or just...
The signature phrase of this movie was like, "Do you want to play a game?" And he was like, "Yes." And he was activating a war.
Did he know he was activating the war?
Not at the time, but he found out, and then he freaked out, and that's the whole
Okay,
movie.
so now I got to watch that.
Yes. So today's version
Yes.
would be Siri, and she'd be like, "Hi, would you like to play a game?" And you'd be like, "Yeah, I'm on my phone. Let's play a game." I don't know. There's a million possibilities, but it should be remade.
Okay, and what was your third one?
My third one was, so the guys at work, Randy, Augustine, thank you. They said Trading Places, but I think it should
Okay,
be.
I'm going to stop you 1 second. I don't think we should remake Trading Places, but I would like those people watching to say, if we did remake Trading Places, who are the two stars? Please chime in on that.
Oh
But
my God.
what is your third movie?
Well, should we just talk about
No,
that then?
no.
Okay.
What is your third movie?
Krull, but I don't think a lot of people know about Krull.
Yeah, that one I could be okay remaking because it's terrible.
It's not terrible. It's awesome.
Not even Mystery Science
I
Theater
love
can make
every
me like
second.
it.
Krull, Krull. And that movie is damn spectacular. You know what? Don't remake it. It's fine as it is. Let's go
If
back to
you do
Trading
watch
Place.
it, make sure you watch the Mystery Science Theater version of it. Okay, what I did was three reimaginings that I loved.
Oh.
Okay, so number one is the reimagining of Pride and Prejudice. I loved Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, and you still have not watched it to
No.
this day. And it stars Lily James. It's the first time I really recognized her, and she's so magnetic.
I love Lily James.
She could sell us on a phone book, a movie where she reads the phone book. So how could you not love Pride and Prejudice and
Yeah.
Zombies? And I had just really re-watched the new the Pride and Prejudice with Keira Knightley, which I know everybody says is not the one to watch, but it's my favorite, so suck it. So when I was watching the Zombies one, I was comparing it the whole time, and it was really fun to go, oh my God, that's how they're implementing it. Very fun. Number two, my reimagining is you can take all of your Christmas carols and you can shove it, because I'm always going to watch Bill Murray in Scrooged.
You don't want to, never remake that.
No, I'm saying that's a remake I loved.
Oh.
I'm doing remakes I love.
Scrooge is not really a remake.
It's a
though.
reimagining. What did I say
It's
at the
a
beginning? He doesn't listen. This is the problem when we play video
No.
games. He doesn't listen. And then we get killed.
That is, this is a good debate.
Okay?
It's not a remake.
It's a reimagining of
Chris-
A Christmas Carol.
Yes, no, I don't think so.
How is it not? It's got all the same characters, but played in a new and interesting
It's
way.
so
Ghost of
different.
Christmas
It's
Past.
so
It doesn't matter.
different.
It's a reimagining.
Well, it's
Okay,
perfect.
we're going to have to
Okay,
stop talking
no,
about this,
all
because
right.
it's going to get us in a real fight.
All right.
This is actually the fights
No,
that we
but
have. We never have real fights.
We
have
actually agree that Scrooge is an amazing
It
movie.
is. But I just think it's funny that we always have these knockout, drag out fights, but they're always over shit like this. Another one that's been remade 6 times is Brewster's Millions. But
I haven't seen any 6 versions of that.
the one with Richard Pryor is perfect. It's from the 80s. It's perfect. I watch it every time it's on TV. So it's absolutely one of the only remakes I would say, thank God it was made. But I want to touch on really quick.
I just thought of a new remake.
What?
Because you said Brewster's Millions and Richard Pryor. The toy.
No. We're not going to remake that. No. That's especially that's terrible. It was horrible. Never.
God, why did I think that?
Because you're a horrible human. But really quick, I do want to touch on before we move on that everybody who hated on the new Ghostbusters,
who hated
a lot of mostly men who didn't watch it. It's so funny. It is now. Will it ever be touch our hearts like the original Bill Murray Ghostbusters? No, but it was so funny and so much fun to watch. And
like little girls watching that right now.
I think that the remake is and you saw a lot of little girls suddenly being Ghostbusters.
It's so great
instead of princesses. Yeah, I freaking loved it. One thing that makes me think about this conversation, because we're completely nerding out over 80s movies, and I started to think, you always see movies where nerds are not cool, but like, wasn't the 80s kind of when nerds became cool? Like even Revenge of the Nerds, like it suddenly was cool and okay to be a nerd.
Made nerds cool. And
I mean, you played Dungeons and Dragons throughout did you start in high school? Why are you embarrassed? Own your freaking nerd flag.
Right. Yes. And college.
Right. I knew in college. You started in high school, right?
Yes.
And you said you were embarrassed back then to play it.
I mean, it's not something you'd fly the flag for, but I think now it's okay. Well, is it?
I do think it's okay. And I was thinking about how like shows like The Guild, Felicia Day's The Guild, it was so popular without really any, like, how did you even know about it? You knew because all your friends were telling you about it. And it became this huge thing. And that just shows you how big the nerddom is. And look at San Diego Comic-Con. I mean, any Comic-Con, but San Diego Comic-Con draws, I don't even know how many thousands of people. Everybody shows up in cosplay. Every celebrity wants to be there. It's like being a nerd is no longer
a thing to be shunned.
It's no longer a thing to be shunned at all. That said,
we're two nerds in the garage.
We are two nerds in the garage. That said, I started to think, you can't cheat and look at this list because I wanted to. I started to think last night, even though nerddom is cool now, what are 10 things that will never be cool?
What? Why would you ask this?
Well, I'm going to read you my 10 list, and you tell me I'm going to start with 10 down to 1, number 1 being the most uncool. And you tell me if you agree or not.
All right.
Okay. 10 things that will never be cool. Number 10, reality television.
I can agree with that.
Fight
but I
me
think
if
we're
you
old.
disagree.
No, I think we're old.
I mean, although I will say that the original Real World, the very first one, was cool.
See, this is where you suck.
And from there, it went downhill.
No, you suck. I never watched the Real World.
The very, very first one. It was innovative and it was interesting, and then it just changed the world because it went downhill from there. You didn't watch it. You don't know, and you had to watch it at the time.
So there's a huge population that watches reality television.
I know. You guys are crazy. I don't get it. Make me understand.
We just poo-pooed all over.
I am poo-pooing you guys because why do you want to sit and watch people yell about dramatic stuff? And it's not even reality. I work in the business. I'm telling you right now, it is all produced. It is all, hey, we missed that. Stop. Say that again. Them getting into, producers are making them get into fights. It's not real. It's not cool. It's not the society I want to live in. And it created our frickin' president that we have right now.
Even the food shows, which we were watching last night at work, produced. So like Chopped. Like you think, yeah.
But if you want to watch something like a food show because you want to learn to cook or whatever, I'm fine. I just don't like the drama part of the reality. I don't like the fake forced drama.
All right. 2.
But our drama here is totally real. We really argue about these things. Okay, number 9. One thing that will never be cool, Crocs.
Yeah.
Do not disagree so far?
Good to go.
Number 8. 10 things that will never be cool. Number 8 is quoting movies instead of just talking.
No, you're wrong. You're totally wrong. We quote movies all the time at work. This is a cool thing to do with friends.
His head's going to explode. I knew this one would bother you.
Why would you not quote movies?
I'm fine with you quoting movies, but what I don't like, and actors are the most guilty of this.
No.
You're always on.
I work with
They want to do whole movie scenes with each other instead of just having like if I say something to you and I'm looking for an answer, don't quote a movie. I mean, you could do it once in a while because it's funny or it's clever, but there are people who do this nonstop.
And that's the second time I got crabs. That was a quote.
Okay, yeah. Number 7 of 10 things that will never be cool. Number 7 is, watch the table, babe.
Yeah.
Man buns.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'm sorry if you wear a man bun. You just got lightsabered. I'm sorry if you wear a man bun. I don't get them. Just let your hair be long and wild and sexy. Number 6, fanny packs. No matter how hard you try, they aren't cool. They're necessary sometimes.
It's been a long time.
They're not cool.
They never got cool.
I mean, I'll be honest. I do have versions of fanny packs I wear on set, but they look like elfin and they hang down my side.
Fanny packs are very specific if you go to a Disney park.
Yeah. Number 5. Now, collecting action figures, cool. Collecting action figures and spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on action figures when you can't pay your rent.
Hundreds of thousands?
Not cool.
No one does that.
I wouldn't have brought this up if I didn't know people who did this.
All right. Would you bring it down to tens of thousands? Is that
I meant hundreds - thousands.
Okay. So if you spend thousands of dollars.
I know somebody in particular who had literally rented a storage space, like a U-Haul storage or whatever they are, public space, whatever they're called, for all their action figures.
Listen, so there's someone I work with who
Okay.
loves podcasts.
Okay.
And I maybe would like to bring him on one time. He calls this wall his birth control wall. So he puts all his action figures on the wall. And it's a very impressive collection.
Look, I love action figures. We have them. I think they're cool. My point is, like, it's not cool if you're not paying your rent, if you're living with
he's paying
you're living
his rent.
with your
He lives
parents.
very comfortably.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, okay.
Then you should
Great.
spend your money and
All
blow
right,
it.
Tony, come on.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's fine.
All
Number 4, you're not gonna like this.
Oh.
Taking fantasy football way too seriously.
I used to.
It's not cool. You can do it for fun, but don't act like you're. I mean, dang it! I keep getting lightsabers.
There's so many swear words in this episode.
Don't act like you doing your fantasy football team is going to affect your team winning the World Series. I mean, the Super Bowl.
You can't even talk about it correctly.
Because I don't like football, so I was thinking baseball because it's good.
So if you can't even talk about it correctly, how can you
I'm just saying
poo-poo
it's not cool.
Wait.
Hurry up.
Go.
No, go for it.
No, I'm saying people really are passionate about fantasy football because they want to win the money. They want to win.
How much? Sometimes you win what? $50?
No, you win look. Okay, if you all put in $20 and there's 10 people, you win $200. But that's $200, and you want to pay attention to it.
I think I love a fun, family competition, and I just think there's some people who will live and die who will not go to brunch, say with their girlfriend or something because they've got to man their fantasy football team.
If you're in a 200 pool fantasy football league, you should make time for your girlfriend. I agree. All right.
You never did that, baby.
Well. You missed me 4 years ago.
Right before I met you.
Yeah. All right.
Number 3, things that will never be cool, most white people. This is where this comes from. I think about all the people that do things they're trying to be part of hip hop culture, but don't really understand hip hop culture. Or, white women who are like, you go girl. No, simmer down. Stop trying to take on a culture that you don't understand because you think it's cool. Now, on the flip side, it's awesome that you think it's cool.
To bring it back around to what we were talking about,
Yes.
remakes, trading places, the conversation I had last night with the guys was, you could not do what you did in the previous trading places because Dan Aykroyd did Jamaican blackface.
Oh, yeah. Not going to happen. You can't have it. The number 1 answer is claiming things aren't cool.
So the number 1 thing of not being cool
that will never be cool
is claiming things
are
aren't
not
cool, which is what we just did for 15 minutes.
But how much do you hate people who are like, oh, I'm not going to see that movie because everybody else saw it. I'm
You're
not going to
telling
get bad
all our
because people saw it."
listeners that what we just did for the last 15 minutes was not cool.
Yeah.
And that we suck.
Pretty much.
All right.
We do think of our listeners. We have an audience question. Let's hear what that is. It comes to us from Dave and North Hollywood. Here he is.
Dave.
Hey guys, Dave Hoffman from North Hollywood, California.
Give his real name.
My nerd wife and I have joked about our hypothetical relationship hall pass list regarding the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We're wondering, who would you guys have on your hall pass list from the Marvel movies? Thanks for answering.
Dave wants us to break up right now.
It's really nice that Dave did not give his and hers hall pass lists. I would love to hear what you and yours give a hall pass to.
Well, it's funny, if we weren't talking
question
about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, we already know like his big celebrity crush is Mila Kunis. It has been since we met. I've just faced it, but luckily she's married and I don't have to worry about it.
To Ashton.
It actually her being married to Ashton Kutcher makes her less attractive to him, so that's great. Good for me. So I want to put a twist on the hall pass because I don't really agree that I would ever be okay with you ever sleeping with anybody else, period.
Okay.
So our hall pass can be male or female. It's not a physical attraction.
Okay.
It's just that you get to go.
Harrison Ford.
You didn't even hear what it is. You get to go to the Rise of Skywalker premiere with this person, and I don't get to go, and I'm at home sad because I don't get to go, but I have to give you a pass because you have these 3 people who are allowed to go without me.
3?
Yeah.
Okay.
So who's number 1?
Mark Hamill, you said that already.
I didn't.
Harrison Ford, these are so obvious. Okay, let me make my third not so obvious, but you go give me some of yours.
Okay. So Emma Thompson, because I feel like her and I are going to be best friends. She just doesn't know it yet. This is tough because there's so many people. I would say Daisy Ridley. If I'm going to Skywalker premiere, I'm going with Daisy.
That's a good one.
And you're going to be at home probably crying.
I will.
But I'll send you selfies.
I would love it. And cry and love it. And cry and love it.
And maybe Max Greenfield, because I really want to work with him. So I'd love to like be able to kind of woo him into, hey, you can go to the premiere with me. It's nothing to like our husbands' wives are at home. It's fine. It's just a friend thing. And then, woo him into movies, I guess. It's hard because there's a lot of people I'd love to take with me.
So choose one of these 3 because they just popped into my head and I feel like I would love to hang out with them. Kevin Smith, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck.
For you to go with?
Yeah.
I would send you with Kevin Smith.
Yes. Okay.
I think you'd have the most fun.
Yeah.
I've met Kevin briefly a couple of times, and he always has just got this great energy, and he's so sweet, and he's always funny. Anytime he talks,
across and all that.
You'd have a really great time. So I'd be sad, but I'd also be like, John is probably having a really freaking funny time right now.
Such a nerdy time. That guy's a good nerd. Kevin Smith, a great nerd.
Really quick, they wanted a Marvel hall pass, so let's give him one actual hall pass from the Marvel universe to answer our audience question.
Okay, you first.
Me first. Great. Put it on me. Then I guess I would have to go with, I'm trying to think of all the new people. Maybe I would, you know what? I probably would just have to go lesbian on it and go Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson.
There's not a lot of options for, I'm trying to think of that scene in Endgame where all the women came together, and I'm trying to see.
What about Captain America? I mean, Captain Marvel.
Oh, Captain Marvel.
Captain America.
Actually, no, I don't know. That's how well you know me. It's Captain Marvel. Thank you.
It's Captain America, let's face it.
No.
Thank you so much, Dave, and to your nerd wife, Amanda, for sending in your question, and to everybody for watching and dealing with our nerd arguments. Please get into the debate. Solve some. You were great about the Reese's. You all agreed with him.
Send us questions.
But send us your answers on all this stuff. And have an amazing, amazing week. You've been listening to Two Nerds in a Garage podcast. If you're having fun nerding out with us, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Rate and review, as it really helps others find the show, which helps us keep delivering fun content. We're also on all of your other favorite podcast apps, as well as on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
This show is supported by our listeners just like you. Please visit twonerdinagarage.com to find all the ways you can help keep supporting us, including our merch shop and direct donations through PayPal. Thank you again for being on this hero's journey with us.